YouTube, welcome to the top 8 of the Meta Weekly Mate. We have a brand new deck against Vaalmonica in the top 8 for some reason. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. By watching as long as you can, that greatly supports the video. Thank you very much. Let me set up the top 8 just like that. Boom. Let's get to it. Let's go.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Pot of P. If they banish 6, should you always ash it? I consider Pot of P banishing 6 similar to picking up their entire deck and adding anything. And if you don't want them to do that, I negate. We got Celta, which the opponent will choose the effect to be, what is that? You could place a card from your hand to the bottom, then draw 2. That was selected. We are going to Invitere. What happened here? I got confused. Oh my gosh, bro, you Pot of P'd, so you can't draw. So, I'm like, what? We chose for them to draw 2, but you can't draw 2 because the Pot of P. But the Pot of P was negated, right? You cannot draw cards by card effects the turn you activate this card. So that's different than add an excavated card and also you cannot draw the turn. You can't draw for this turn. That's different than you cannot draw the turn you activate this card, even though the effect is also negated and not the activation of the card. So that's also a difference here. So yeah, we got screwed. Valor negate the Dimino, which is copying the effect of the Celta. Negate. The Celta effect we're trying to get was to add a Vaalmonica spell trap from the deck to the hand. And thus we're now left with just an impermanence. Okay, yeah, if you're confused, Vaalmonica did not choose to draw. The opponent chooses, all right? So that's how this works. Unless you have a Vaalmonica card in your Pendulum Zone, which we do not, your opponent chose for them to draw, which they can't draw. So Vaalmonica did not screw that up, all right? So just to be clear. Bro, we pass. We pass. There's no play, no play. Driver. Again, the opponent chooses the effects. So the opponent's choosing to send a Vaalmonica card from the deck to the graveyard because we have to control the pendulum scale, right? Vaalmonica in the Pendulum Zone, otherwise the opponent chooses the effect. Sending the Chosen Melody, which is a monster negates. Pass back to you. Both players are hard struggling. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's big. Ostinato, send from the deck into the Boccia, into the extra monster zone, which is very important as you're about to see here, because the imperm negating it, we could still send it to the graveyard with Gravity Controller to then reborn a monster we sent from the deck to the grave, which will be the Refrain. Where instead, so ideally you make the link 2. If you can't make the link 2, you make the link 1. So let's make the Bloom, discard the Dead Driver, trigger the Boccia to chain link block from an Ash Blossom, reborn Refrain as we summon 2 bodies from the deck, and they have to be to where it's pointing to. And also we chain link block from an Ogre. You can't Ogre this. Add a couplet trigger, reborn a level 4 lore from the grave, which will be the Soprano, that is. Soprano on summon, special summon, add back Sonata from the graveyard. Couplet, search our deck for the Concerto, which could fuse with the hand, field, or back row. Soprano could only fuse with the field and not the back row as we make a Shiberta. Shiberta could banish 3 cards from either player's graveyard. So, Gia, this is, Melodious is an Italian deck, right? This is for the Italians. Concerto, fuse with the field in the back row into Itoli. Itoli is going to be able to banish as many face-up Melodious as we want to also return that many face-up cards the opponent controls back to the hand. Holy moly, 11,000 damage just like that, triggering Astrograph to summon and block additional attacks here. Do we still have lethal damage? Shiberta is big enough. We could just Itoli spin back. Yep, spin you back, get you out of here. Thank you very much. 9,400 damage. Can't activate anything on that attack. Lethal with Shiberta. Melodious clapping up Vaalmonica. Will this be 2-0? Or Vaalmonica could maybe have a massive comeback victory, claiming game 2 and 3. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know how Vaalmonica's in the top 8. You know, it's a great player, obviously, but Vaalmonica? Generally, the way to deal with something that cannot be destroyed by battle is going to be 2 things. So we're on Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta for some reason. We'll go to Master Meta. You're going to want to trigger the field spell with the Trident Dragon and put everything into attack with the Transcendent. That's your core play if their field can't be destroyed. Who cares? Keep them on the field, change their battle position, and Trident pop field. So their play is going to be is to deal with your field spell. So that means you want to prioritize, if they can't be destroyed by battle, use Hydra in the battle phase to set a second Sangan summoning. Don't let them get away with disrupting your Sangan summoning, all right? That's how Voiceless Voice beats you, and that's how you could beat Voiceless when their trap pops the field spell, grab a second one with the Hydra. So in essence, if you summon Hydra to search for Kaimin, you're probably going to lose against a field of monsters that cannot be destroyed by battle. Just remember. So Chandra is also a good card to get that Hydra out. Chandra, special summon Hydra in the battle phase. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Clean them up. It's not a Vaalmonica deck, it's a Baguska deck. They do more than summon Baguska, but that is one of their best turn 1 plays. To be fair, you are kind of right. We have Celatrice grabbing the Invitaire. We're now going to invite the Angelo and invite the Domino into the extra deck. The Angelo is going to discard a card, set up the Pendulum Scales, as we now Versailles. We're going to send a Pendulum of Vaalmonica card from the deck to the grave. We're going to search our deck for the Ionair, Intonair, that is. Intonair reborns from the graveyard, but the opponent chooses. Or we could add instead. We chose to add instead. Sure. We are now going to Pendulum Summon. Domino and Angelo. We're going to banish from the graveyard the Domino to gain the effect of Celta, search in our deck for the trap. We're now going to Angelo, copy the effect to Reborn in Ash Blossom. As we then link this up into Electromite. Electromite's going to put into the extra deck an Astrograph. We're going to pop the Ash Blossom to add the Astrograph, trigger Astrograph to special summon itself onto the field, searching for an Ash Blossom. Wow. The opponent chose to special summon Ash because what's the worst that could happen? It's not like they could add it back to the hand, but that's exactly what they did by destroying Ash. You gave them an Ash Blossom in hand. That's crazy. Huh. Add the Dimino with the Parallel Exceed, special summon it onto the field. Now make the Zebufera as we then Baguska. Yup, it is a Baguska deck with some Vaalmonica on the side. So with this field, what do we have? The Vaalmonica Followed Rhythm can pop a back row plus return a monster, and then do it again through the Link 1. So double return back, double pop back row. Your monsters are stuck in defense and are negated if they're in defense. You could make Link monsters like the Link 2 to play around that. The Ash will be able to negate an interaction with the deck. The Gamma's not going to be usable. And also, if a card would be destroyed, you could remove 3 resonance counters instead of them being destroyed. And it's not a once per turn. It's as many counters as you have, that's how many times you're going to be able to protect. Or disrupt 3 plus a Floodgate. Set up the couplet, search our deck for the Concerto. First movement solo, special summon the Area. Area, while special summoned, is protecting us from being targeted, but the trap doesn't target, so it actually does not help us out whatsoever. Thus, we're going to use the effect. We're going to pop a back row and spin back the Area. Yep, both effects. Why didn't it spin back? It said both. Why couldn't it spin? It was optional. Okay, we chose to optionally not return it back on purpose. You could still choose to gain, so you could still choose to gain life. You could still choose to deal damage, but then it's optional to return the monster back. We just chose to not return it back. I felt like the game selected it when trying to return it back. Was that in my head? It looked like there was something in the animation. So we chose to not return it back, I guess. I'd have to rewatch it. We are Fusion Summoning, which will trigger the Pendulum Scales to set them up from the extra deck into our back row, special summoning a Shapina. We're going to copy the trap to spin back the Fusion monster and pop the back row Shapina, add back nothing because of Baguska. Thus, we got Super Baguska. Now, Baguska is also stopping your non-link monsters, but do we put it into attack position to gain the effect of Celatrice? Only if we think we have lethal damage. Well, do we have lethal damage through the Area protecting us from being destroyed by battle? I don't know. We also can't be targeted. So what's the play? We're going to be Disharmoniaing to add back a Banisher Engrave, the Intonair back to our hand. We're going to Pendulum Summon onto the field. Let's Intonair. Intonair, the opponent chooses a monster from the graveyard to special summon. Thank you very much. Reborn as we make the Daralume. Now, what is this going to do? If this card is link summon, you can target monsters your opponent controls up to the number of resonance counters, destroy them. Can't target. What are we doing? can't be targeted, can't be destroyed by battle. We are completely walling off this field, and we have no out. Do we have no out? We have Goddess, but are we locked into something? Can we not make a Goddess? What the heck is going on? Little Knight can't target it. We make a Little Knight. Reborn. Bro, you got a Goddess. Access code. Okay, you can be destroyed. You can be destroyed. You just can't be targeted. Yup. Let's go. Banish, pop the back row. Make a Zebufera. What happened? Excuse me? Why aren't we destroying? This can be destroyed by card effects. In fact, you know it can be destroyed by card effect because there's another monster that protects you from card effect destruction, and that's this one. Your monsters cannot be destroyed by card effects, but we don't have that. We only have by battle and by targeting. Maybe we're confused. Oh no. Do we for some reason think they cannot be destroyed by card effects? This is non-targeting destruction. This will destroy. We have Abyss Dweller to turn off the graveyard. Uh-oh. Detach. Now your cards on the grave cannot activate, so something like Botcha would not be activatable. We're going to Shapina, add from the graveyard. Back to our hand, Soprano. Now, the Zebufera could still do something, right? The Zebufera is going to, during the opponent's turn, target a Vaalmonica spell trap that is banished from the graveyard, apply the activation. So if we apply the trap that we do have in the graveyard, we could stop the Link 2. The Link 2 states that you have to summon the monsters from the deck to where the Link 2 is pointing to, but by returning the Link 2 on activation, it does not summon to where it's pointing to. Discard, summon. Oh my gosh, we didn't activate. Should we have waited? Should we have done that? Or are we waiting for the Atoli? Huh. This is interesting. When and what do we activate the Zebufera on? Our only form of disruption besides the Ash Blossom. We also, did we not chain link block the Link 2 and we didn't Ash? We didn't Ash summon from the deck 2 bodies? Are we going to Ash the Botcha? The Botcha did not get chain link blocked by the couplet, but it did get chain link blocked by the refrain. So by holding on to Ash, we can't Ash the Botcha. We could Ash the refrain on summon though, if it was activating the search, but we already used that up. So we're now using the Zebufera at this moment, right here, right now, to stop the refrain from sending a card from the deck to the grave. Couplet, search our deck for the Concerto. Was this the opportune moment to use our spin back? Because now we got the Atoli. Atoli is here, plus the Soprano. We're gonna fusion Shokan into the Shiberta. Now, hope is not lost yet. We have the Zebufera, which could protect us from being destroyed, except now we can't. It's gonna spin everything back to the extra deck, back to the hand, return back in the end phase. Let's get to it. Goodbye to you. Main phase 2. Let's make our plays. We still have the Atoli though. The Atoli will be spinning back. We are going to be setting up the pendulum scales. Celta is going to be searching our deck. We're going to actually draw 2, that is. So we return a card to the bottom of the deck, then draw 2. Let's pendulum Shokan into the Dimino, copy the effect of Celta to search our deck specifically for the chosen melody, which is a monster negate. And then we're making the Artemis. Artemis could add back the Celatrice, or I should say trigger the Celatrice to add itself back to the hand. Then we end our turn. We're going to, in the end phase, banish 3 cards in the graveyard and spin our entire field to spin their field back. Yup, let's go. Banish 3 to return 3. Get spinning. Keep the Artemis on field, come back during the end phase. Very difficult to deal with this. Sonata can now boost up the field. Let's make the Protector. What does this do? This is going to tribute a fairy to target 1 card the opponent controls to destroy. Requires 2 fairies to make. We're going to Concerto trigger, draw a card, special summon the Sonata, tribute itself to pop the back row. The chosen melody is now activating to be able to negate the effect of an effect monster on field. So did we do that? Well, what did we do? You could negate the effect of 1 effect monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. You negated Sonata. Okay, Sonata negated. Nova boost. Concerto, Fusion Shokan with our negated Sonata, making the Botcha. Botcha activate, summon from the deck, Chainlink Block and Ash Blossom, which cannot be used as we set up our Pendulum Scales into the back row. I feel like a timeout's gonna happen. Oh my gosh. Did we time out? I think we timed out. Oh, we surrendered. Okay. Wow. Melodious is just too much to deal with. Very difficult, but I mean, we had the access code talker to get popping. We, for some reason, thought, I mean, normally when a card cannot be targeted, right, it kind of is coupled up with cannot be destroyed. Is that true? Like, how many cards cannot be targeted? Cannot be targeted and also destroyed. Cannot be destroyed. Wait, is this cannot target? Cannot target? What's the word? Cannot. Yeah. Both cannots are sometimes paired up, and I get like Lady Labyrinth, cannot be targeted and cannot be destroyed. Maybe that's what you're thinking. The Hugh Lee, the Makonkos, they're equipped so they can't be destroyed. They also can't be targeted. Is that what freaking happened here or what? Begin. Wanted Seeker, so we are ready with that Ash Blossom. What are we negating? Did not negate Sharon to summon a mill 3. Normal summon the Jet Synchron into Angelica. Angelica, we are going to negate the Angelica from searching for the field spell. So even though the field spell search was negated, how good is our field? Let's talk about it after we resolve in the end phase to set up the Angelic Ring. So this field is negate a spell and trap card, negate a spell, pop any card in the field non-targeting through the Roland equipping onto a monster to trigger the Charles, negate anything with the Baron de Fleur, Promethean Princess, pop a special summoned monster. That is 5 disruptions with this field, even with the field spell search being disrupted. Good luck. Nightmare Pain, we are going to negate the activation. Goodbye to you. Now down to 4 disruptions. Now, can the Emperor Charles negate the activation of the effect or only the activation of the card? That's something you definitely want to know, so let's read that. When a spell/trap card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation and destroy the card. So we could have waited for the activation of the hard once per turn effect to then negate and destroy. But the problem is, so he made a mistake, right? He actually did the correct play because it would then screw up the Angelic Ring. The Angelic Ring is going to forcefully negate the first spell, card, or effect that resolves. And by negating the effect of a continuous spell, what happens? It does nothing. The Nightmare Pain would get negated, it would stay on the field, and then it would still be able to activate the effect to pop and still resolve and everything would go through. It would simply just kill the Angelic Ring. So we are protecting it. So we have 4 disruption left. Return up to 3 back. Ash Blossom, negate, draw 1. A bit sussy, but I mean, what else are we negating? It's not like we're turning off a disruption with the Ash Blossom and maybe they're drawn to a hand trap. So, Angelic Ring, negating the activation of the search. So since you do something on the activation, it does negate something, but the field spell remains and it's not negated. So we have 3 disruption left. Almirage, trigger the Promethean, get popping onto the Almirage. We have 2 disruption left, which is what? We have pop a card in the field non-targeting and Baron de Fleur. So pretty much our 2 best disruptions left are still left. We're gonna return back for our Phantom of Yubel. Roland, get equipping, trigger the Charles, pop the field spell, and we scoop and we out of here. The Baron de Fleur is pinning down the Phantom of Yubel. Off the horse and now riding Yubel. Let's hop into game number 2. Drool in Lockbird. Okay, let's see. We have a lot of combo starters. We have search, we have search, we have search, and then we have you can't search. That's going to be an issue. Now, we could hard summon Phantom of Yubel. If we hard summon Phantom of Yubel, we could stop the Droll. But what's crazy about Droll is it doesn't say hard once per turn. So if you add, I droll, you Phantom of Yubel, I droll again. What? That's right, double droll around the negate. Let's turn back. Come forth, Phantom of Yubel, search our deck, and I think it's gonna happen. Yep, we are going to negate, gotcha mate, and then droll number 2 to send him back to Fortnite, you fool! Holy crap, double droll. Ain't that disgusting? Not cool. No more adding, that's it. The adding is gone. Let's Dagda. Mate, you are toxic. We're gonna chain directly to the field spell Not Searching to set up the artifact Scythe. Oh my goodness. Now what? We are going to pop the Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel onto the field. Spirit Gates, discard, reborn Spirit of Yubel, set under Droll. That works out perfectly. I mean, we're playing quite well under Droll, if you ask me. I think this is great. As we then make a Yama, which could add from the graveyard, but not from the deck. Return back for the Phantom of Yubel. Further going into the Lord of Yama again, as we then make a Sprite Elf. Elf will be able to reborn from the graveyard, the Dark Beckoning Beast. So how do we trigger the artifact Scythe? It needs to be destroyed during the opponent's turn to then summon, and then turn off your opponent's ability to summon from the extra deck. Well, I think it's tied to the Yama. If a card you control is destroyed, you then summon a Fiend and then destroy one card you control, so Yama will destroy the artifact Scythe. But how do we destroy a card to trigger the Yama? Are we reliant on the opponent to do that for us? How do we initiate the Yama? What do you normally do? What's the normal way to trigger the Scythe? Diablo Star, discard, Elf, reborn the Yama, sure. He Sprite Elf summons Yama into the dog. Oh, search the dog. Yeah, that's right. Yup, that works. Totally works. Search for Shavara, and then you could get poppin'. Okay. But Shavara Pop Scythe locks you into Fiend-type monsters only. So how do you get rid of Shavara after popping the Scythe? Are you, like, I don't understand. How does that work? Shavara locks you in a Scythe. Elf, add Shavara, second Yama, see the destroy, then destroy the Fiend lock. If Yama's destroying the Fiend lock, then what's destroying the Scythe? Oh, it's a mandatory activation to summon, right? Yeah, because it's mandatory. If it was optional, it could not activate because you're Fiend locked. And then on the mandatory activation, you then hire Chainlink Yama to destroy Shavara, locking you into Fiends. Thank you. Yeah, Scythe is mandatory. That's why. Oh, that's crazy. That's pretty interesting. I sold it up. Search for the Quantum, which cannot be summoned, but, you know, Ash Blossom stopped that cool play that we were about to see. Definitely something. This play is not legal anywhere besides Master Duel. So I think you all should write this down. Elf, reborn Yama. Yama, grab Shavara. Shavara, pop Scythe. Scythe, activate but can't summon, but Yama on Chainlink 2, reborn from the grave, pop the Fiend lock, and then the Scythe summons, activates, being untargetable due to summoning it under where the Elf's pointing to, and then they can't summon from the extra deck. It is the new way to Ibli lock, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I think so. I like it. I'll be trying it out. Again, blame the game, not the player. If a toxic lock exists and it works and it's consistent, then the best thing you could do is use and abuse it until Konami nerfs it. We have Angelica activating, chaining to a card targeting it, but of course it all got stopped by the Ash Blossom. Stop it on the Yama. Now, so, Ash stops it. We could have had, well, yeah, it does. All right, we are going to be reborning. We got the Turpin, reborn because we have an equip card onto a monster, making the Emperor Charles. Let's get Charles in. We are going to equip onto the Charles, then make the Charles the Great mate activate to equip the Emperor Charles, which is properly summoned. Summon from the back row. We want to equip onto it again, activate another field spell, another search, 2 field spell, 2 searches. Almace can equip onto the Emperor Charles. Now that's equipped, we can make the Emperor Charles. That will trigger the Almace in graveyard to add back the Gearfried, as the Emperor Charles also equips again onto the field. Now, because we're going second, we could trigger the effect to pop a card in the field. I don't think we used that effect yet, right? Gearfried is equipping. I guess, did we already activate that effect to get popping? We got Gear equipping. Now we're triggering. Now we're popping. Take out the Nightmare Pain, and we are going to trigger the Scythe. We could Reborn, pop Scythe, Reborn, lock them out of the extra deck after they already summoned everything they want from the extra deck, but we're going to negate that anyway. Nope, don't think so. Negate. Got you, mates. There you go. Yeah, 90% win rate on the Emperor Charles the Great. That's all you got to know. That's it. So set this up, go into the top cards, win rate on summoned, and Emperor Charles the Great, 90.7% when summoned. You can't stop it. Well, 10% of you somehow are stopping it. 2-0. Diavolo, I don't think that duel is embarrassing. I think you did what you could do. You set up a Scythe lock under Droll. You properly stopped the Droll, but there was a second one. And then the freaking Ash Blossom stopped your play, which would have locked them out. And then I think you would have won the whole duel. So it's just double Droll into Ash Blossom. Damn. Begin. Chimera's good now. Yes. So why do we have a Black Goat Lash in the hand? We could have a way to discard it. We could discard it with a card that we summoned through the Welcome Labyrinth. So we're going to set up the Nightmare Pain, summon D-Lotus, imperm, negate the D-Lotus. Now there are multiple ways to get that D-Lotus back in the field to activate, like through the effect of the Grave Squirmer. We're going to Shavara, pop, special summon. Now we could summon the Grave Squirmer, as we now have to deal with the Welcome Labyrinth into Ash Blossom, negating the Welcome Labyrinth. No welcome for you. You will not be summoning from the deck. Let's link this up into Yama. Yama will add back Shavara. In Grave, Shavara will set up a trap in the back row, the Escape, which could pop a card during the opponent's turn. And we got Squirmer in the Grave to now reborn the D-Lotus, which was previously negated. Let's squirm the D-Lotus onto the field into probably a Daruma. Flip down the D. So, how can you stop the Daruma? Had the Shavara not already activated, it still would not matter. You'd pop it, summon, then Shavara would be flipped face down. If you had a Little Knight to banish the monster, that would be flipped face down. Just know that you have to flip down in order to send the other cards to the grave. We have Escape, which is not dead because Shavara could pop the D-Lotus to summon to then get poppin'. Ariana searching the deck for the Lady Labyrinth. Lady come forth, they're going to want to chain the lady to a back row trap. And that's including your own. So you gotta be very careful. Chain link block the lady with the Shavara. Well, we're not doing that. We're summoning the Shavara early. Yama trigger, reborn from the graveyard the D-Lotus. To battle we go, Escape of the Unchained, pop Ariana, allowing them to turn on the Lady Labyrinth for free, setting a trap from the deck to be used during your own turn, as we are specifically setting up the Dogmatica Punishment. That is definitely interesting. So within the draw phase, we could punish your D-Lotus and take out the Nightmare Pain. Yup. Goodbye to D-Lotus. You have nothing to chain link block the lady, thus we set another trap for free, not activated the turn. It is set though. We also have Black Goat Lash. We can declare a monster name, and then you can't special summon that monster. Antis, wiping out the Nightmare Pain. Welcome Labyrinth, resetting itself onto the field. So you can see visually what card is activatable and what isn't. The ones that don't have the Dark Glow are newly set, and if the effect does not say that it can be used the turn it's set, can't be used. So these are the 2 Dark Glows, these are the 2 non-glowies. Summon the Dark Beckoning Beast into the Spirit Gates. Spirit Gate, come to me, another Dark Beckoning, which we can additionally summon through the effect of Dark Beckoning to then link it up into an Almirage to now turn on our Little Knight Vanish. Well, you're not allowed to summon Little Knight. There you go. Little Knight cannot be summoned just like that. Very interesting. We are going to Spirit of Yubel, trigger, summon a Yubel from the deck. Spirit Gate, add back the Nightmare Pain. Let's get Nightmare Pain in. The sleeves are really screwing me, mate, because it keeps looking like you have a set of the Rex term. Jesus. Yubel trigger, summon a Terra Incarnate from the deck. Spirit Gate, discard Spirit of Yubel to summon the Spirit of Yubel. Spirit is untargetable thanks to the elf. Grab the Nightmare Pain, return from the grave back to summon the Phantom of Yubel. We can reflect lethal damage. All you need with 3 Yubels is 2,700 to reflect. 29, we got you, but the Daruma's gonna flip it all face down and say goodbye to the Sprite Elf. That was a well-timed Daruma. It just like that. What was lethal damage has been thwarted by a single Daruma. Time limit, bro, what? We are going first against Labyrinth, and they do have a maxi, but we have a way to stop it. So let's speed on through what to do. Let's go. Pop Yubel, grab Squirmer, trigger Yubel, summon Terra Incarnate, cross out Designate, negate. I don't think so. Terra Incarnate is here. Squirmer special, making our Yama. Yama grabs Shavara. Use the effect of Chandelier to set up a big welcome Labyrinth. There, tell me if you want this in Master Duel. Probably just as a Labyrinth player, you'd want this. Because we already know their standard play, so we could talk a little bit. In Magic the Gathering, there's an option on the toggle that says pass until the end of the turn. So it toggles off, you can now watch YouTube or something, and then in the end phase, it will then turn on automatically so that you could use your Chandelier. Well, why not just use Chandelier early? It's now gone. The card we set is gone because we didn't want to wait for the freaking delay. So we got clapped up there when instead we could have just waited until the end phase activated, but it's really annoying to do so. Because if you toggle off, they end the turn, you then could miss your chance to activate the Chandelier. Is this just a Labyrinth problem? Maybe Thunder Dragon also. I mean, what other decks do want to wait until the end phase to activate? Maybe it's not that prevalent to even implement it. No, Master Duel has the option at the end of the turn to toggle on. So what would happen is the turn would end, it would toggle on, you can't Chandelier because the turn is not, like it literally the turn's over, not the end phase. At the end of the turn, it toggles on. So that doesn't even help you. We are going to Phantom of Yubel, negate the Ariana. Negate. By popping a Yubel from the deck, Yubel, summon a Yubel, as we now make Plan D. Great. Whew, awesome. Can't special summon for the rest of the turn, can't summon at all. That's fine with me. Let's just link off with it, get rid of it. Big Welcome, though, is going to spin it back, so you are not able to turn your Soul of Rage into a Little Knight. Or Nibiru. Nibiru, you could, I guess you can't Nibiru in the end phase, so you'd want the toggle to say pass until the end of main phase or pass until the end of the turn. Now we're maybe making the toggle a bit more complicated. I don't know. Lord of Yama, after the pop through the escape, trigger the Yama, reborn the Soul of Rage back onto the field, as the Soul of Rage also adds back engrave a fiend to our hand, which will be the Shavara. That's a GG. Are you ready for game number 3? Hajime. Coup Clock, discard. A newly set trap will be activated the turn it's set, as we then discard from our hand the Butler to set up our Big Welcome. Clock will trigger because it was in the graveyard, witnessing a card being discarded for their card effect, as we then Big Welcome, summon Lovely, return back the clock to then activate to pop a card from the hand, as the Chandelier also add back to the hand here. Imperm, negate. So this is what you want to consider. With the Lovely being negated, what would I be thinking about doing? I'd be thinking about Lovely getting back on the field through Muckraker. So link off with her, reborn her, activate her effect to recycle a trap in the grave. Butler is chaining to the Imperm. Now, the problem with the Muckraker play is that they have a Veiler on top of the Impermanence. So maybe we just didn't want to do that. All right. 1 for 1. Discard. Black Goat laughs, declaring Samsara D-Lotus. Now, there's a problem with declaring D-Lotus. And the problem is the monster cannot be special summoned except from the grave. So if we have some way to get it into the graveyard or normal summon it from the hand, it will still be able to get out into the field. So we are 1 for 1-ing, no D-Lotus, as we summon a Grave Squirmer instead. We're going to make an Almirage, which means Little Knight. Do not let them summon Little Knight. We're going to have to spin cards back before they whip out the Little Knight. Almirage is going to jump off the field. Very good. That will ensure that a card like Welcome Labyrinth will not trigger because a monster did not leave through a trap effect, and that also does not trigger the Lovely. Lovely was about to pop a card in the field. So that was a big debate on that big Welcome Mate. We still have Daruma to flip the whole field face down, though. Now, should we have Daruma'd on the activation of the Nightmare Pain? The Nightmare Pain states that the monster you destroy must be face up on the field or in the hand. So we just don't know that the Call by the Grave was a dark monster or not. We could have gambled on it as we grab a Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel, summon a Yubel, Shokan into the Yama. Shavara set up an escape. Yama add back the Shavara from the grave. While we unfortunately cannot trigger the effect of the Lovely, we will at least be able to set up a big welcome for next turn and Daruma stop any big plays they're about to make, like right now. Daruma flip down the Phantom, send the Yama to the graveyard, and now the escape is useless. Can't use escape to get poppin'. We have Call by the Grave fingering the Chandelier, thwarting the follow-up play of setting up that big Welcome Labyrinth. That is a big deal. A well-timed finger. So how could we have played around the finger? Wait. Was this using the end phase? Was this using the end phase? No, right? We're now entering the end phase. So had we waited for the end phase, what would be different? Maybe they would set the called by. If you wait for them to set the called by, then you end phase Chandelier, then we'd have a big welcome here, right? Yeah, should have waited. And there could have been a mind game where they hold on to the called by, but then you know that they're holding on to it, so you don't use it, but then you don't get the big welcome, but then you don't get fingered. Yeah, you know, it could go from there. We're going to Shavara pop the Phantom of Yubel. Remember what I told you. If Lovely activates the effect to recycle a trap from the grave, you are likely gonna lose the duel. Pretend it's win rate when summoned. Instead, it's win rate when effect is used and not negated. So Sniffus is making it the highest priority to stop Lovely from recycling a trap. It has not been able to do so. We impermed it, we had Veiler, we're now gonna pop it before it recycles. Do not let it recycle. We are going to trigger the Yama to Reborn, flip up the Arius with a face down trap trick. Now, if we have 2 Darumas in the deck, can we grab a Daruma? We have to banish a trap to then set the same name from the deck. We're banishing a Dogmatica Punishment to set a Dogmatica Punishment, and we're gonna use it right here, right now. Pop Shavara, send Entis, pop the Nightmare Pain, but we have a way to grab another Nightmare Pain. Or we start laughing with the Black Goat. Neither player can activate a D-Lotus on the field. Effects on the field with the original name cannot activate. It's not that it's negated, it just can't activate on field. Holy, end the turn with the Black Goat laughs, mate. That was crazy. Oh my gosh. We just triggered a battle trap in 2024. Yup, Spirit of Yubel searching for the Nightmare Pain. Thank you very much. We do have big welcome. Almirage returning itself back on the field, so we have the setup to maybe Little Knight. When do we big welcome? Welcome Labyrinth can only summon from the deck. Big welcome can summon from the deck, the hand, or the grave, thus it is ghost spellable. Just a little extra note there. Nightmare Pain, we do not want that to resolve, so we are going to set up the Lovely Labyrinth. Lovely from the grave, return back Arius, trigger the Lovely, and get poppin'. Poppin' that Nightmare Pain. Now, we lose Lovely for good, right? Well, unless we play the Chimera that returns it back. And that is this one. During your opponent's turn, banish this from the grave, get it in the grave with Nadir Servant, get it in the grave through the Dogmatica Punishment, target your banished Lovely, and then special summon it. Otherwise, she's gone for good. That's the only way we could get her back. Phantom of Yubel. Oh my gosh, we have a monster negate plus a monster banish. We have Ariana, a pretty good random top deck, but you know, it's just gonna get negated. It's big enough to at least swing into the Little Knight. Are we just giving up? Holy moly, wow. That's crazy. Damn. through back and forth grinding, but we were incredibly resilient on dealing with the lovely, honing in on her specifically, not allowing her to recycle a trap from the grave, and that is what won us the duel. Now, there was a situation with how did Shavara even activate if it's only activatable in the main phase? Did you choose to end the main phase without activating? Oh, you had to flip. Oh my gosh, that sucks. Flipping past priority to activate Shavara. If she was already face up on the field, you can't Shavara before she activates. You can't do it. You have player priority as soon as you hit main phase 1 to activate Lovely to add a card from the grave. But that flip summon, that costed us the entire duel having to flip. Oh my gosh, Ritual Beast. I love it. Let's see it. We have Elder plus Pangu. We're going to banish in the graveyard to summon the Protos as we now have a light monster called Light. Uh-oh, we scouted. No, I mean, like, let's be real. We know who's playing what by the time it's top freaking 8, right? Woo-hoo-hoo, first turn kill. What the? Bro, wow. We waited for Light to be called to scoop. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, this is a 3 of, to be fair. To be fair, okay? But damn. You Protos locked me, now I lock you out of spells. But is this even a first turn kill? I don't think we even care, really, we don't. It's not a big deal, because we could still make big play. We have a very good hand here with the Laura, Elder, and Apelio. We just can't use the crossout designate. So what are we dealing with? Omni negate a monster, and then we have Masquerena into Link. That's gonna be a banish, so it's 5 disruptions. Now the Light Worm, does this do anything? If a card is destroyed while this card's face up in your extra deck, add this card. If this card is summoned, special summon, yeah, I don't think this is doing anything. I forgot how this turns into a disruption. Let's go, 5 disrupt. Can't triple Tactics talent. Yeah, I guess that is kind of a problem. So now we are in an issue where the Little Knight's going to be banishing one of our monsters here. Little Knight, goodbye to the Apelio. Apelio banished Laura, which will then summon a monster from the deck. Little Knight, see, double disruption. We're now down to 3 disruption. Goodbye to both of your bodies. As we say goodbye to the Elder and goodbye to the Apelio, and the Laura summons whatever you want, but it does not matter because we can't do anything off of that one monster unless we have not already triggered the Laura, which that is the Laura trigger itself. Absolutely disgusting. 1-1. How well does your deck play under D-Shifter? Now, Pendulum monsters from the field, they dip their toe into the graveyard, then they jump in the extra deck. So because of that, under Shifter, they actually get banished, even though they're supposed to go to the extra deck. I think that's going to screw everything up, right? Yep. Shifter it up. No Gamma. We did not Gamma the Shifter. Okay. Let's see how well this works. Also, the Melodious cards, they interact with the graveyard. Reborn from the grave, add back from the grave, which is not going to be doable now. So when do we Gamma? We're not going to Gamma the jump off the field to summon 2 bodies onto the field here. As we search our deck, we still have our open normal summon. We're going to grab the Wen. Canahawk, banish from the deck, and Apelio. I'm just on the edge of my seat. When are we using the Psyframe Gear Gamma, banish from the grave to additional summon? And just like that, we did not need the additional summon. We still have the effect to normal summon Wen and summon a banished monster. Goodbye to the Ulti Kimu. Wen, activate, summon onto the field, Rapangu, send from the extra deck a Psychic to send a Psychic, making the Ulti Hawk. We're going to Ulti Hawk, search our deck, special summon 2 Ritual Beasts back onto the field here. Everything is getting banished, but even though cards are getting banished, we're still cheating as we put cards into the graveyard under the effect of Shifter. We have Banshee search in our deck for the Nemesis Flag. Now, how do I get a light monster on the field? Oh, wait, you got it for me. Now, the bigger problem is how do I get 3 different attributes? We have, well, we got them all. We have it in the graveyard. We got dark, we got wind, we got light. We don't even have to do anything. It's perfectly here for us. Grab the Protos, call light, wipe out the Gammas, and dash GG. We are going to Nochi, jump off, get the Kimu back onto the field. Further going into a cross freaking sheep. Cross sheeping under a shifter. How does that even make sense? What the heck is going on? We're going to banish some of the Protos, call light, and just like that, we just have Imperm. Just Imperm. Okay, I said I got nothing. All right, so what do you have to do? Just summon Nochi. We don't have the setup to set up another Nochi, mate. How do we summon another Nochi? I feel like we screwed up by summoning the ulti Kimu because now we can't Nochi, call light, and then lock them into light again. That's where if I was playing right now, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't light lock them again. I got nothing in the grave. I got nothing in the hand. I can't do it. I cannot call light. Whoa. That is insane. That we survived the Protoss light lock. We may as well call fire, I guess. You can't summon Electromite, right? No Electromite for you. And no Ignister Prominence. What else is fire? Come forth, Bacha. We are going through our light monsters just like that. And we do have to worry about the Nibiru now. Call by the grave, fingering the in-grave reframe, negating the reframe on field. Very well done. Negate. Hopefully we don't get OTK'd here, right? I mean, we're going to easily at least be able to deal with the Protoss. Concerto, get Fusion Summoning into a second copy of the Bacha. Bacha Engrave activates, reborn the reframe. In a way, D-Shifter screwed ourselves because all of our cards being banished, instead of being in the grave, we could not banish for the Nochi. What you generally have to do with an ulti hawk is do not do the ulti hawk dance of send one card to the grave. You have to send two at a time. You have to target two, then target the other two to special summon. Just fill up that grave as much as you can. Imperm negates the Beyond the Pendulum. It is a smart thing to do. Put your Imperm into the pendulum scales. Don't put it in the middle. You're not playing Duel Links here. Negate the scales. Set up Pendulum Shokan into Nibiru. Why are we Nibiruing? Well, this is an Apollo. Yeah, 3 material plus 1 Apollo USA. We don't want to risk it. Tribute off the field. Now, can we get access back to our Protoss? No, Protoss is gone. It's gone from the duel. We have, and we all know the crazy recursion of Ritual Beast, of being able to banish in the grave to summon the Nochi. We don't have it. We don't have it. Oh my gosh, we just don't have anything. Turn after Protoss locking with light, we can't get another Ritual Beast monster onto the field. We're not drawing it. We're screwed. Oh my gosh. Off the top of the deck, Dark Worm searching for the Gate Magician. We're going to Pendulum Shokan onto the field, trigger the effect of the reframe, search for the Couplet. Couplet could trigger to reborn a monster from the grave if there was one. We're no longer fire locked. I was fire locked previously. Now I can summon my Electromite. Electromite, pop our Pendulum Scale, grab the Astrograph, draw a card. Wing of Light, search for a Gate Magician. Gate Magician, pop itself to set up the Gate 0, trigger the Astrograph, come forth and summon, search for another Gate 0, as we then make an Absolute Dragon. Absolute to the grave for a Cross Sheep, trigger, summon the Vortex, trigger the Cross Sheep, reborn a Maxi, summon the Gate Magician, further link this up into an Axis Code Talker. Boost it up, and just like that, over 12,000 damage. Not only surviving a Dimension Shifter, but also surviving Protoss locking him out of light. Ain't no way. Light lock and D-Shifter, yet Flying Dino prevailed. Never surrender. Incredible work. Good job. Maxi in a standby phase to play around a hard summoned Phantom of Yubel within main phase 1 right away. Now, Ash gets to negate, and we get to make our full, uninterrupted 1 Nightmare Throne play. How many disruptions do you gain off of a single Nightmare Throne? Let's speed this up. the Lotus into Spirit, set the Nightmare Pain. By the way, this deck's only going to get better with Varudras unreleased and Fiendsmith. So those are two big cards and Engine, you know, Engine and a missing card. Ooh, we setting up the Dagda, boy. Let's go. I want to see this. Special summon the Grave Squirmer into the Yama. Dagda setting up the Scythe. I really hope we trigger the Scythe. I just want to see it be done. Do it. Squirmer, Banish, Reborn, Spirit Yubel, pop the Spirit with the Shavara. Special summon from the deck. Link it off into a Soul of Rage. Shavara set up the Escape and now end the turn. All right, so how are we going to set up the Scythe? Well, what does Escape do? Target an Unchained and one card in the field. Does it say it has to be the opponent's card? No, it could be our own card. Pop our own Scythe mate. On top of that, we have three monster negates to protect our Scythe from being negated. Now, Call by the Grave would be the big card to stop the Scythe, but we don't have the Called by. Let's go. Yama could pop it as well, so you could use Escape to pop a card in the field, and then use Yama to Reborn and pop your Scythe. So what do you do though? Do we wait to pop a card, or do we just pop the Scythe right away? What's the play? We're waiting. By waiting, they get to summon a monster from the extra deck that should have not been summoned, right? This was not activatable had we summoned the Scythe in the earlier, draw phase or standby phase. So I think we're paying a price here. We're gonna chain Maxi. We could Ash negate the Maxi. We get Apollo or Phantom of Yubel to negate. Negate. I will be drawing per special summon. So is it that big of a deal that we let them summon one card from the extra deck instead of scything early? Bacha is here, playing around the impermanence, you think? I guess to be fair, right? If they have Call by the Grave, oh well. If they have an impermanence, then you should wait. Now, would they have impermed on during your turn one? Yeah, but then they could top deck an impermanence and you do want to play around that. So let's be fair. This is the safest way to play around impermanence. Apollo negate the Bacha. And we know everything's public. It's not a surprise. We know there's Escape. We know there's a Scythe. We know they could summon it. We know we are screwed. Couplet is additional. We're gonna search for the Concerto. Foolish Burial, send from the deck the Dark Worm. Dark Worm trigger, reborn itself from the grave. Activate to search for the Gate Magician, a holy royal Gate Magician, mate. Gate Magician, set up the scale, pop itself to set up the Gate 0. We're gonna use Concerto, fusing with the hand. We're not using up our normal summon. We're waiting. So in the extra deck, does Yubel play a spellcaster? I don't see it, mate. Nope. No spellcasters in sight. We are screwed. We cannot parry Resmap, we cannot Nightmare Throne, and we cannot imperm our way out of the Secret Village. Now there's no Omni Negates for the imperm to negate the Apollo, but there's that cross-out designator. I'm out, you first turn killed me. Ain't no way. Negate. Masquerina, Little Knight. Let's hop into game 3. Everyone's getting super toxic turn 1, despite Konami trying their best to ban cards like Jaugen, banning cards like Ibli. Is the next ban list gonna have more of these cards? How many more toxic turn 1 floodgates do we have to ban? Is anti-spell getting banned? Is the field spell, Spellcaster Village getting banned? Definitely not, I don't think so. Not enough people are using it, but I could see Scythe soon getting banned if this takes off. So we have the ability to pop a card, negate a monster, link with a monster, banish a card, banish a monster. This is 6 disruptions for us to play through. Can we break this field? Let's go. Summon the Dark Worm, imperm, negate. Now what? Dark Worm negated. We could summon the Gate Magician from the hand. Okay. We're gonna set up the gates, right? The gate could summon, I think. Let me read this card again. If you, you have to have a Supreme Gate to special summon, so it actually is not summonable. We are going to escape of the Unchained, pop the Supreme Gate from setting up the Gate 0. We're now down to 4 disruption. Trigger the Soul of Rage, or cycle back the Phantom of Yubel. What happened to the Yama? Why didn't Yama trigger to reborn the Soul of Rage? Why did we just lose 3 disruptions for no reason? Sniffus, was that a misclick or what? How do we not trigger the Yama? We're now down to 1. Just 1 Phantom of Yubel. He's playing around Triple Tactics talent. Okay. But now we got nothing. All right, nothing. Nada. 0 disrupt. Take the Shavara. Now, okay, sure. Oh, you know, okay, this made sense. This actually made sense. If you have another way to trigger Yama, so this is what I would call a pure Unchained deck play. You hold the Yama if you have another way to trigger the Yama. So, good. I approve of this play. This is the way. This is how TCG played around Triple Tactics talent, by making sure they have a Shavara in their hand. They would go out of their way to add it, and then during the opponent's turn, they would specifically play around Triple Tactics talent just like this. So, yep, very well done. Good job. And now we're going to whip it out. That held on to Max C is popping off. Holy moly. We can't summon the Yubel or they're going to draw a card. So we're going to just hold on to the Spirit of Yubel. We will whoa, we're summoning it. We don't care. We do not care. And okay, what? I thought we triggered the Yama. If a card banish. Oh my gosh. This has to be a misclick. This has to be a misclick. Is it? We added Spirit, we said no to special, and then we specialed it with Yama instead of Soul of Rage. He clicked no to summon with the field, but then summoned it with the Yama instead. Something crazy happened here. That has to be accidental, right? Holy crap. What the heck happened? Tell me that's a misclick. Holding the Yama trigger earlier made sense, but this, I don't think so. Gate 0 and the Light Worm. We're now gonna Pendulum Summon. Come forth and summon. Didn't want him? It's like, really? What do you mean didn't want to? Just didn't want a Soul of Rage. It felt safer with the Spirit of Yubel than a Soul of Rage? Does that really hold up? Does that really hold up? I don't think so. I guess, you know. So they draw 2 from Spirit of Yubel into Yubel, or they draw 2 from Soul of Rage into Little Knight. Like, do we think Yubel's better than Little Knight Soul of Rage here? You know, maybe we did that on purpose. Maybe we did. I would like to know their reasoning, though, on why they think Yubel is probably better. Okay, let's see if it actually works out. If Pendulum is mostly destruction, then the Yubel keeps on summoning more Yubels to protect our life. Exister Prominence, you're gone. As we now then add back the Light Worm, we have the Gate Magician special summon because we have the Gate 0 for the Shokan into the Access Code Talker. Target in the graveyard, but boost up 5,300, over 8,000 damage, lethal damage. Tell me if I'm wrong here. You hold Spirit to activate in the battle phase when they attack with Access Code Talker. That seems a lot safer. Now, of course, they could set up an Apollo to try to negate it, or another Omni negate, but I feel like holding Spirit in hand and summon Soul of Rage, it could just be hindsight. Maybe there's good reasoning on why we summon Yubel instead, but Soul of Rage link off into Little Knight, hold the Spirit of Yubel to hopefully not be negated during the battle phase, in addition to the Soul of Rage plus Little Knight. I feel like even under Max C, that would have been the better play. But you know what? If it was a different choice, a different road for different reasons, that's fine. Let's hop into the other half of the top 4. We're going to start this off with a reinforcement, grabbing from the deck our Neospace Connector, Imperm, negating the ability to stop them from summoning an Isold. So the question is, should you just wait for the Isold to use the Impermanence? I feel like it would be better. Now, if the Imperm was an Ash Blossom, they're summoning the Neospace that will look into your hand and delete the Ash Blossom, but they can't delete the Impermanence. So I can't say that I agree with that Imperm. Negate a spell and trap, negate a spell and trap, negate a monster, negate a monster, negate a monster, negate a monster. And then we have negate a spell with the Angelic Ring. So we have 7 disruption plus the Roll and Engrave, which will be able to pop a card in the field non-targeting. That's 8 disruptions plus the Drone Lockbird. That's 9 disruptions. Is there a 10th disruption hiding? There could be a Promethean in the graveyard if we went that line, but there isn't. So only 9 disruptions. Not that great. 9 versus 5 cards. So we'll hold up our hand, we'll be ready. We have to stop this. Why? Because of the Angelic Ring would try to negate it and it would do nothing. So it negates the effect, it stays face up, and then we lose the Angelic Ring. So we're now down to 8 disruption. Trigger the Magus to maybe draw another hand trap. Let's go. Randomly draw into Maxi. I'm ending my turn. Yep, you got me. Definitely that win percent, it's true. It is true. You summon the Emperor Charles and I lose. Holy moly. Broken. Absolutely broken. Again, win rate when summoned is not a tier list. It's if you just actually get to summon it. So the reason why this is not a top tier deck is because it's difficult going second to summon this and do well. It's also difficult going first to even summon this. You know, you don't want to summon it under a Maxi and then other forms of disruption. Generally, 1 Maxi or 2 other hand traps will stop this from being summoned. And that's enough to stop other people from wanting to just play this deck, because otherwise it would be the best deck if you can consistently summon it every time without Maxi. Soprano plus Sonata, fusion summon with our current field of what we control into the Bacha. Itoli is here. We are top tier. We could non-target, spin face-up cards back to the hand. We're going to Pendulum Summon. Soprano is going to add back an engrave card as we now fuse only with our field into a double Shiberta. 2 Shibertas are 2 activations, and we're going to be able to... See, normally we would have the ability to protect ourselves from being targeted by card effects. We can be targeted. We can be destroyed by battle. But the Shiberta could banish 6 cards from either player's graveyard, and the Itoli can jump off the field with all the monsters to dodge anything nasty while spinning your cards back. Can we break this? Durendal, equip onto Itoli, activate, search our deck into a Drone Lockbird. Yup. You no longer can add. So the 90% win rate of summoning the Emperor Charles, tell me how you're summoning the Emperor Charles. You're not going to. Negate the Ogier. You will not send from the deck here. Equip the Gear Blade. Send to the grave with the original Sinful, summon from the deck the Ricardetto. We're now going to banish 2, spin 2. Get out of here. Ricardetto is going to be banishing itself to summon the Ogier. Equip the Aldmace onto the Ogier. Battle, take out the Link 2. And then we're going to Shiberta. Just get mass banishing. Banish 3 from your graveyard. There's no other cards that we care to banish. Itoli is now back. And then now we just perform lethal damage. Pendulum Shokan. Let's speed this up. Baboose it up. Let's get to it. Let's do it. 13,000 damage. Lethal. Let's go. Tempai is prevalent within the TCG meta. So don't act like they whipped out Sky Striker only because there's no Tempai. They're everywhere. We have Diablo Star discarding, setting up the original Sinful. When do we whip out that Ash? Do we save the Ash for the second effect of the Isold? Or do we Ash right here, right now? Negate the ability of summoning from the deck. Negate. So did we get baited on the Ash or what, as we randomly draw a card on a field in hand that's pretty much just going to end the turn? What, Oliver? Oh, equip. Okay, now we have Oliver send the equip to special summon. Bruh, what the heck? Random draw into Isold. We had nothing. We had end our turn. We are screwed. We can see you win, GG. And now we are going to be able to summon the Emperor Charles. We are now 90% win rate. Original Sinful 8-hour Ash. Holy moly, we are screwed. Now, surely this can't be that many disruptions. We have Spell and Trap card negate, Spell and Trap card negate, Spell negate, negate interaction with the deck, negate a monster on the field, non-target pop any card on the field. We're at 6 disruptions so far. We have Promethean Princess in the graveyard, which will pop a special summon. So that is 7 disruptions. Did I miss anything? 7 disruptions. 7 versus 4 cards. Uh-oh. Lightning Storm. Negate. Now we have 6 more left. All right, 6 more disruption. Sure, that's fine. 2 more spell negates, that is. Magus likes drawing hand traps, so let's see if that happens. We drew a Maxi last time. Nope, drew a Fenrir. Ostinato. Negate. We're now down to 5 more disruption. First movement solo. Negate. We're now down to 4 more disruption. We're going to call by the Grave Finger the Promethean Princess. And it successfully goes through. Now we're down to only 3 disruptions left after that finger goes through. But we now have 0 cards in hand, 0 cards on field, 0 cards in grave activatable, with 3 disruptions left. Damn. To battle phase we go. We don't have to even summon anything additionally. With double Charles, over 8,000 damage, we have FM Production advancing to the grand finale. Now, I don't know what happened to FM Production. FM Production was, got a big morale boost, was encouraged to want to play this deck because of Flame Swordsman's release, but then is not playing Flame Swordsman. So what's the story? Did you go on the ladder at Flame Swordsman because it's new release, and then you just took it out and said, you know what? Infernoble is better without Flame Swordsman. And I did ask that question at the start of today's stream. Flame Swordsman is to be played with Infernoble, but are you playing a worse version of Infernoble? And maybe FM Production believes that this is the better way to play it without Flame Swordsman. Grand finale, Melodious with Supreme King versus Infernoble. Are you ready? Begin. We're gonna Maxi in the draw phase, playing right into a potential Gamma, but we do not care. Shrine, send the Dark Worm here. Trigger the Dark Worm, Reborn from the Grave, activate to search our deck into an Ash Blossom negating. Well, now you're not negating my refrain, but we are under Max C, so how much do we actually want to do before ending our turn here? This would be a perfect Baguska pass, right? Baguska pass. Every time I make Baguska under Max C, they guaranteed have an impermanence to negate it, but not the case here. Let's go. Off the top of the deck, nothing that could stop that Baguska. We're going to use Living Fossil to reborn our Ash Blossom for the graveyard. Normal summon Veiler, link it off into an Anima to then make the Little Knight. We actually outed Baguska. It is targetable. It's only untargetable while in attack position. Nicely done, but ending our turn with no hand traps and just a Little Knight, that ain't good. That ain't enough. We have Dark Worm activating in the graveyard, reborn to search our deck for a Gate Magician. Gate Magician is going to be popping itself to set up the Gate 0. Now that we have Gate 0, we can special summon the Gate Magician from the hand as we then search our deck, and then the Little Knight's going to chain banish the Gate Magician off the field to try to stop an Electromite summon. Come to us, Lightworm. Now we're setting up the Concerto play possibly, as we're first going to Lightworm, add back the Gate Magician, And we now have an Electromite. Electromite adding into the extra deck an Astrograph, popping the couplet that is to grab back the Astrograph. Astrograph triggering to grab the couplet from the deck, to trigger the couplet and reborn the reframe, right? Holy moly, that's crazy. Couplet, reborn reframe. This has got to be the best way to play Melodious. Concerto, get fusing with the hand, field, or our pendulum scales, making the Boccia. Boccia activates, summon from the deck. Boccia also states that your Melodious fusion monsters cannot be negated. The effects cannot be negated. Come forth and summon just like that. 8,400 lethal damage. And we did it under a maxi where we were able to make Plan B Baguska. Let's hop into game 2. Noble Arm Museum, we do have our Ash Blossom, but when do we Ash? We could save it for the second effect of the Isolt. Let's see if that's when we want to do it. So a lot of you could be thinking, why isn't there a second copy of the Emperor Charles? Well, we had to use the field spell to play through Disruption, so normally we use the field spell to special summon the Emperor Charles from the back row, and we had 2 field spells, and we had to do 2 special summons from the back row just to play through that Ash on the Isolt. So what we ended up with is still a pretty good field. We have the Spell and Trap card negate, Spell negate, pop any card on the field, Monster negates, and we have Droll and Lockbird. So even through a disruption on the Isolt, we have 5 negates, 5 disruptions that is. Call to the Grave, finger that maxi, which I'll just allow the Angelic Ring to negate. Gotcha. So you are now going to be screwed as we draw per special summon. Well, no, I'm not. I'm just going to end my turn. What the heck? A legal surrender? Because you're not allowed to surrender in the grand finale. I've been outplayed. Come forth and summon. We told a Flying Dino, if you surrender in the grand finale, we told to both players, we give your prize support to the chat. So they do not want that to happen. Taking this into game number 3. Let's see. Let's see. Wingsfield searching. Oh, not Wingsfield, sorry. Where's Wingsfield at? Appreciate you. Trigger the Gamma to negate the Droll and Lockbird. Chain Maxi. Gotcha. You negated the wrong card. So I talk about this a lot. Protect your C by giving up your Ash instead. Or maybe you have a Droll. If they finger your Ash or your Droll, at least it's not the C. And in this case, the Gamma negated the non-max C. Got him. Bruh, what? Holy moly. What? Ain't no way. Valor is going to be negating the Dolphin. You will not be looking at my hand. Now, the Maxi is not currently fingered, so, but they do have an Ash Blossom to negate the Maxi. Uh-oh, we are going to Ash Blossom negate. Now, a Flying Dino is going to walk away from the computer, and FM Production is going to, let's go! I sold. Add from the deck, send from the deck, special summon from the deck, send from the deck, grab from the grave back to the hand. We are going to equip onto the Ogier, reborn from the grave. What the heck? That's a hand trap. Discard this card for the rest of the turn. Your opponent cannot target Draco Slayer monsters with card effects. What the? Attack. Attack again. Double attack for all of my monsters here. Huh? Lethal damage. Good job, FM Production. Not even needing to summon the Charles the Great. Thank you, Flying Dino, for being amazing, being top tier. Thank you to both of you here. Let's get to the top decks. Boom. What happened to Tenpai? Did this one card really stop Tenpai? What's it called? Area, the Melodious. Is this the sole card beating Tenpai? While you control the special summon card, monsters you control cannot be targeted by card effects and cannot be destroyed by battle. Tenpai can't figure out how to beat this. That's it. This straight up just beats Tenpai. Is that the case? Wow. Let's check out the list. Starting out with Branded, top 16, Super Main with the Super 60 card deck. Let's super zoom this out. Oh my goodness. Good job, Super Main. Main decking 2 anti-spell fragrance and main decking 2 threatening freaking roars. That's also what happened to Tenpai, because the problem is if people are having incredible turn 1 toxic plays where they're setting up the spell fragrance, a Christia, they can't special summon. There are just turn 1s that are available in Master Duel that no matter what deck you're playing, it's a first turn kill. And yep, so Tenpai can't really beat that. So yeah, I do want to focus on Tenpai losing here. Shining Sark snuck into the top 16 despite Tenpai not being able to do so. 2 turn silence. That's interesting. That is the monster negate. 2 Dark Magician, 2 Gandora. While I'm sure these cards helped you get in the top 16, they also knocked you out of the top 16. This is not a critique from me telling you to take them out and play them at 1, because you know the deck a lot better than I do. So yeah, that, you know, we clapped with them, but they also clapped to us as we bricked in the top 16, which was really unfortunate. I was really rooting for this deck. And we are playing Destined Rivals because we don't have Dragoon. Otherwise, I think we would be playing the Dragoon package, right? So what else is good here? Live Twin, Saucy Senpai, 40 card clean, nicely done. The Sprite starter is unlimited. Good job to you. Sprite and Live Twin with the new alt arts. I'll make sure to add them in your extra deck. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to have the, wait a second. I pulled 3 alt art Leela and you only play 1? I have 0 keys to kill and you play 2? Shite. Vaalmonica, absolute MMA, 40 cards, looking good. Good job. A good amount of pendulum focus here. Electromite, exceed the pendulum. I haven't seen anyone play the Infernoble. Am I just out of my mind? Am I behind on the times with how the deck's being played? So let me see that real quick as soon as it loads. Let me type in Infernoble also on Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. Infernoble, and no one's playing this, right? No usage data. OCG, TCG, nope, but you're playing it. So good job to you. That's why I was confused. So very good. No, you know, make your own deck. Don't have to copy others. Beautiful. What else we have here? Labyrinth, Haga. Good job, Haga. We got the triple dimensional barrier, double go, triple destructive Daruma Cannon. These are all cards that are going to clap up Tenpai, flip it, send them to the graveyard, disallow a summon or an activation of a monster, dimensional barrier, completely lock out synchros. Yup. And then we have Ritual Beast. Kid Art the Beast. 1 ogre. I think teching in 1 ogre with the emergency teleport, it's a good idea. Even when going second, I'm thinking about it now. Extra E-Tally, summon Ogre to turn off a Soul of Rage or an Apollo USA, or even if they have a Little Knight. Most people end on Little Knight, not most, a lot do though. Stop a Little Knight from banishing you. That is something. Good job, Kid Art. Snake Eye Fire King, Bull, 40 cards, 43 cards, playing the new Snake Eye Diablo Star. What is this card doing? It's essentially, it's a special summon from the back row. So it's an extra special, extra body, but we didn't get to see that play actually happen, unfortunately, as we discarded to the graveyard. Good job with the main deck. There is the extra. And who else in the Snake Eye Fire King? We have ABBA, NPS, not playing Snake Eye Diablo Star. So the Diablo Star, it just came out late, I guess, because as I was talking about it, it's not really played in Snake Eye Fire King. Good job. And then there's the extra deck. Let's keep on going. What else we have? Melodious. This is, so I guess the question is, should Melodious Supreme King be its own deck type? If we do that, it's harder for Melodious to make it on the tier list. If we keep everything under Melodious, then Melodious as a whole will more easily be reflected on the tier list for its power level, the engine of Melodious, and then you could just sort by within the deck type breakdown itself between the Supreme King and the pure Melodious. So you all let me know on how you think about that. Let's see. So this is the Supreme King variant, but we are listing it under pure Melodious. Well, just Melodious, that is. Looking good. The way I kind of want to handle it is, in general, this is the blanket way I like to handle these deck types. If a deck type is so massively popular enough, it deserves its own deck type, like Snake Eye Fire King. If the deck type is not popular enough to stand on its own, just through sheer popularity, I like to put it all under the same deck type. It gives it better visibility in the deck type breakdown. It gives it better visibility on the tier list. So those are the reasons why I would not want to split them up. But time will tell. If they start exploding in being their own things and are enough to be on the tier list on their own, then I probably will split up the deck types. So good job. Good job. It's like Plunder. I don't want to mix up Plunder Lab and regular Plunder. Just have it all in the same hood, and then you get the good visibility on both versions of the deck. We got Raigeki, Lightning Storm up in here, Test, Pure Melodious. So there you go. You all have a tournament topping Pure Melodious and Pendulum Melodious. I know a lot of you are allergic to playing Pendulum, so you could stick with the pure version of the way to play. And what else do we have here? FM Productions getting first place with Infernoble Knight 60 card. Mad Lad here is the main deck 60 cards. We got 2 impermanents. Oh my Jesus. And then let's check out the extra deck here. That's right, no Flame Swordsman. But then Marco did play Flame Swordsman and at 3. Holy moly, I'm copying this deck. I mean, FM Production, I like your deck, but the new card's new. New is new, and this is a heavy emphasis on Flame Swordsman. I think this should be called a Flame Swordsman deck, in fact. What do you all think about that? I think I'll separate it. I don't know. What do you think? Is this a Flame Swordsman deck using Infernoble cards, or is this Infernoble playing Flame Swordsman? So that's going to be up in the air. I probably will separate it, though. Good job. Because I thought it was just going to be like one Flame Swordsman. We got Yubel, the best performing deck of today's event, despite not getting first place. Sniffus, the top 4. We got the Scythe. Oh my gosh, Scythe Lock is back after we banned Ibli. Yubel players are just always looking for a way to be more toxic, I guess. And then if you ban Scythe, they'll just play Anti-Spell Fragrance. They still have other options. Diavolo also playing Artifact Scythe. So the top 2 builds of Yubel in today's event, both on Artifact Scythe. What else? The 3 top builds all on Artifact Scythe? Holy shite. This is not good. This is a problem. 4. All 4 Yubel players on Artifact Scythe. I would have bet against this. If you were to ask me, do you think all 4 on Scythe? I'd be like, no, maybe just half of them. All 4? Everyone topping with Artifact Scythe? That is crazy. How's Artifact Scythe been doing recently? Did it top a recent tournament? No, I guess it's just popping up in our tournament right now and everyone's on it, and maybe it's going to take off. Holy moly. Now you all know how Scythe works with Yama. It's a mandatory effect. It'll be Chainlink 1. The Yama will be on Chainlink 2. If you have a Shavara locking you in a Fiend type only, you pop the Shavara with your Yama on the higher Chainlink. You can also use Escape of the Unchained to pop it. So multiple ways to deal with your own Artifact Scythe to get it on the field, and then easy win against something like Tenpai. Yup. There you go. I think Yubel players are like, I don't want to have to play Ritual Beast, Protoss Call Fire to beat Tenpai. What can we do to auto win against Tenpai? That's the answer. This is auto win against not only Tenpai, but multiple different decks. Unbelievable. Crazy. And I think that's it. That's all the decks. Good job. Yeah, you know, Tenpai got hard countered today. That's crazy. Yep, so maybe Tenpai will figure out. I feel like they're going on and off. The Tenpai's getting clapped, and they clap the next week as they figure out counters to the counters, and then the counters to the counters start countering Tenpai after they counter the counter, so they'll be back next week. Or maybe not, because Melodious is now countering Tenpai through being indestructible by battle. even though I do think there's easy ways to deal with that. So good job to everyone. There you go. We are out.